Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining us for another session of Digipub Week. This is an afaqs initiative. Uh, we have been discussing one particular issue related to digital publishers almost every day, and we have two more sessions to go after this. Today with me, I have Nitin Mathur from 91 Mobiles and Porus Jain from Sportskira. Two of them know this industry in and out. And first of all, thanks a lot to Ed Pushop, our presenting sponsor. Then we have Akamai, WinType, and Chartbeat, our partners. I think we have a AV to play first. So Devashish, can you please play the AV? Thank you, Devashish. So the session today is actually to figure out if affiliate marketing can work, and the publishers mostly depend on advertising revenue to sustain, but advertising revenue in India has always been under pressure because we have never got the correct rates from the advertisers, and most of digital advertising still rests with Google and Facebook. With that, affiliate marketing started becoming popular in India, and especially platforms like Nitin's used it. But Poros, you still continue to be on the advertising side of it. So today we have a good mix of both, where you both can actually shed some light on the promises and the pitfalls on either side. Nitin, to start with you, would you please shed some light on what the affiliate marketing scene currently is in India?
Sure. So I think if you if you look at affiliate marketing, there are the whole structure. There's an advertiser side and there's a publisher side.
Right.
On the advertiser side, I think the popular and the main constituents that people know about are the e-commerce sites, which is now led by 2-3 large players. And then there are smaller retailers, and then there is a whole bunch of affiliate advertising which is not commerce related, but it could be for app downloads or sign-ups and so on and so forth, which could be for the finance industry or practically any industry altogether. So I think that's pretty much the advertiser landscape. I would say affiliate would probably as a channel be around probably somewhere between 5 to 10% of the overall digital advertising pie. And on the publisher side, I think how it works depends a lot on the context, and it would depend whether you're a large or a small publisher, whether you're a mainstream news publisher or a niche publisher. And I think the answer to the questions that we will be exploring today would probably depend a lot on the context of who the advertiser is and who the publisher is.
Correct. That's great. Poros, coming to you, you are a sports multi-sport website, and people interact with your website quite frequently. As Nitin said, sign-ups and sign-ups and installs are another aspect that affiliate looks into. What's your view of the affiliate marketing space?
We have tried it few times, though we always prefer on a like selling our audience or our impressions that we have on a CPM or a fixed buy basis,
Correct.
uh, because for like it there is a biasness from our side towards the fixed pay or a CPM basis. Logic behind that is that we have things in control is our platform, the
Correct.
content that we do, the audience that we get, what audience we get, right? And we are giving them a share of our audience. We are giving them space on the site. So that's in our control, and how much we
Correct.
give at what rate is something seems correct for us.
Correct.
But when we go to an affiliate model, there are a lot of things which are not in our control, and that may affect our revenue. It might be season, it might be what type of offer is running, it might be how the UI UX or the how good the landing page or the website is. We have tried for sure affiliate. Sometimes it has worked, sometimes not. But we like 99.5% of the ads that you see on Sportskeeda will be uh, a direct buy or a CPM kind of a buy.
Correct. Correct. I'll come back to you with to understand more about the Indian behavior and the global behavior when you talk about advertising, direct and programmatic. What parts of it? But now I'll go to Nitin. Nitin, you mentioned about the niches that for which the affiliate works well. Can you talk a little bit about it? Which are the niches that you have seen? E-commerce is one, and gadgets has always been it's a happy marriage. But what else? What else do you see working for affiliate?
So yeah, I think so. I think there are a few contexts in which it works really well. So I think, to begin with, it depends on the kind of publisher that you are. So there are a
Correct.
number of publishers whose nature of content and traffic is such that it lends itself very nicely to affiliate. So a coupon site or a cashback site, and so on would be obvious candidates. Where affiliate would be the main revenue stream.
Okay.
Uh, uh, then there would be sites where that have no option because for some reason or the other, network ads, which is AdSense and all, do not necessarily work there or give a high fill rate. So if you are, let's say a site on gaming or betting or let's say MP3 downloads or something, I think a lot of networks, especially Google, have policies around where they will and they won't show their ads. So if for any
Correct.
reason you cannot get a good fill rate for your remnant inventory from sites like that, if you're a publisher like that, then absolutely I think affiliate is something that you'll be reliant in. For
Correct.
everybody else, I think it's a question of degrees, right? Whether it can be 0% or 5% or 10 or 20 or 25% of your revenue. And there, I think there would be vertical sites like 91 Mobiles, which is one of the
Okay.
largest sites in the gadget space, or what Polish does, which is in the sports space, versus most typically mainstream news sites. And there, I think a couple of important questions to ask is how well, if you're a vertical site, does what you do relate to typical, large-scale advertisers that pay good money on affiliate. So
Correct.
that's one factor. So, for example, if you write about the finance space, if you're a site like an ET, and then are there a lot of offers going on from banks and all to push their premium credit cards and so on and so forth, and does that fit in contextually well with the kind of content that you already do? I think that might be one incentive to do it. The other
Okay.
incentive for sites like ours, whether vertical or horizontal news sites, would be how much remnant inventory do you have to deal with, and what are the rates that you get for that remnant inventory vis-a-vis what AdSense or a network would pay versus what you can make on affiliate, and
Correct.
then that would be the answer.
Yeah.
And I think honestly, it comes down to that question. I think traditionally there's a resistance because the lens through which affiliate is viewed is like Potter said, that if I as a publisher am giving space on my site to an advertiser, then it should be up to the advertiser to pay an amount for that space, right?
Right.
Why should I take the risk of how well that space would be utilized for the advertiser, which is what
Exactly.
you're saying in the affiliate space, where you're paid on a per result basis, whatever that result may be.
Yeah.
And conceptually, that's true. But I think given the way advertising is going, I think all publishers, it's incumbent upon them to find and build new revenue streams, whether it's through subscription-based content or through affiliate or whatever else might work in your context. And therefore, I think that philosophical objection, I think, is something that probably will slowly melt away, and it'll have to be the hard calculus of how much incremental revenue can you generate through this vis-a-vis other means.
That's great. Porus, come in here. I mean, before I go to you, I would like to request my attendants, please send questions. We can't go to you with a mic because of this entire pandemic situation that we are forced to, but you can ask your questions on the chat box and we'll definitely take it. Porus, talk a little bit about the advertising scene, because the discussion on affiliate went on because as the CPM rates were under pressure, the programmatic advertising revenue, even if you're a large website like Sportskeeda, it was not up to the mark, and that is when people said, let's try some alternatives. Few are moving to affiliate, few are moving to subscription. What's your view of the India scene? And you have a great traffic coming in from international markets. So what is the programmatic rates that you see on those markets?
Yeah, so if you at any moment compare India and US CPMs that we get through programmatic channels, US is always like 10 to 15x actually of the India CPM. So it's true, the Indian the CPM for programmatic in India is pretty low. That's why any publisher in India, they rely on their direct sales, their relationships with the clients, how well they have been able to serve, give them a good conversion. So in the end, yes, maybe we are also an affiliate, but yeah, it's always a CPM buy. And adding to Nitin's point, right, when he said that niche content or the type of content really matters. So it's not that I'm anti-affiliate or we will not do affiliate, or there is a philosophical, like we will never do. We will try it several times and we still do, right? We have a health and fitness section, and
Right.
we have articles like the 10 best dumbbells or 10 best health and fitness equipment in particular area, right? They have been giving us affiliate revenue since years. We have links to Amazon and Flipkart. We get percentage there, and they have been working for us for many years, right?
Okay.
Similarly, there are a lot of niche football scoring websites like
Correct.
Score, and they have an affiliate partnership with all the betting operators outside India. Obviously, this is not applicable to India. India betting is not available, and that's why we didn't go to affiliate. But for a lot of sports publisher, affiliate is the only source of revenue that they have. They don't actually do ads or any programmatic channel or maybe selling directly. But for them, affiliate revenue brings in huge CPMs and huge, what do you say, RPMs, right? So there is no philosophical way, but I think for Sportskeeda, we didn't find a huge, as he rightly said, that even for him, it's like a percentage of revenue is with affiliate, and a lot of publishers in India. Nitin, you said there is the 10% of the marketing spend is through affiliate.
I was talking at the industry level. I think for us, it's about 20%. And it has, I mean, for us, we are mainly reliant on the large e-commerce sites, and it's become a duopoly. So to be fair, that percentage has declined over the last few years. And brand is already the largest. But I mean, still, 15-20% is still fairly meaningful in the context of it.
Yeah, right here there's a question. I think Nitin, you can take it. It asks if affiliate marketing were a product, where in the life cycle is it? Example, are we past the beta phase, still experimenting, or beyond that phase? what do you have to say about it? I mean, at one stage we were looking at a 6-7 player e-commerce market in India. It has again come to duopoly, as you just said, because Paytm is much more away from it, and then Tata Click is also not right up there. So how would you comment on it? How would you take it? I mean, what's the phase that we are in?
Sure. So I think there is no one average answer to this. I think the answer would vary. So when you're talking about affiliate and when you're talking about the e-commerce angle of affiliate, I think it, 4-5 years back it was very nascent. And when I say nascent, I think what it means is that attribution methodologies, panels where you can track how many clicks and conversions have been sent, etc., etc. A lot of this technology was not available, and there was very little transparency. I mean, it's one thing that you are getting paid only when a conversion happens. It's another thing to not be able to track that conversion on a regular basis and be reliant on Excel sheets, which with dodgy data in it. But I think that to a large extent has been overcome because the large e-commerce sites have their own affiliate platforms, which are fairly advanced. And even for the other sites, there are third-party affiliate platforms that are now available that are plug and play, and for any e-commerce site can offer seamless tracking, right? So from a technology standpoint, I would say that the market is mature. I think it's plug and play for anybody, for an advertiser, and even for a publisher to be able to track what they are driving. But from a market maturity standpoint, what's happened is that it's both good and bad. I think the heydays of e-commerce from an affiliate standpoint are behind us because, like you said, the market was very vibrant a few years back, and now it's more and more a duopoly. And when that is the case, then increasingly there'll be a downward pressure on rates and what the sites are able to pay. But the silver lining here is that India is undergoing a D2C brand boom right now. So there are a lot of direct to consumer brands that are emerging, and while individually all these may be small, but overall it's representing a meaningful and fast growing share of the e-commerce pie, and this trend is only going to take off. So for someone, for instance, running a site that gets lifestyle oriented audience, I think a lot of these brands can then become very meaningful full players. So I think so I think the wave that we are seeing with D2C brands will sort of, for a lot of publishers, represent an opportunity where affiliate fee can again be on an upswing. And I think this is obviously not applicable for us as 91 Mobiles because we are specific to gadgets, but I think a lot of other sites that have general traffic or lifestyle traffic are already benefiting from the emergence of these D2C brands.
Okay. Well, Porosh, about D2C brands, I mean, there's a new set of D2C brands that are emerging, which you said betting is not allowed, but fantasy sport in India is functioning, and it's a booming economy, and the proof of it is that it's it's not DLF or Vivo IPL, but it's Dream 11 IPL this time, and they do a lot of transactions, and you have the capacity to drive traffic to them. So how do you see these players? And it's not only Dream 11, there is My Circle 11, Hala Play, and plenty of them. So how do you see those coming up actually interesting your affiliate sense again?
So they're more than happy to buy at a CPM. So why will we? That's actually the right, like the small answer. The bigger answer is also that even Dream 11 and all these players, I think the most of them, none of them are actually profitable.
Okay.
And fantasy, so betting affiliate is really huge outside India, as in in the world, because there is a set parameter. There's a format. What's the rake that a betting provider takes? What's the or there is a industry, there is a governing body, right? So the affiliate becomes far easier in a format which is kind of same for all the providers. But in fantasy, since it's actually not much old, right? Like Dream 11 is they started it, and they are like 60, I think 100 fantasy operators, but everyone has a different way of doing it, and I don't think they have really, and then we have not been that that you take a percentage share of winning of the revenue, because that is how a betting affiliate works. They take a percent. The affiliate gets generally, I think,
Correct.
50% of the losses of the. So there is
Okay.
a format right now.
Mm-hmm.
They're willing to pay CPMs. That's it's not picked up affiliate in and fantasy cricket right now, but I might be
Okay.
because maybe we are not having those conversations also.
And also in fantasy, it's a fixed amount that the signups will pay. It's not a variable amount. You're not betting. It's one amount you pay as a ticket price to enter the tournament, and then you make your team. Nitin, there's a question that has come in. It
Sorry,
asks.
Aniban, if I can, I'd just like to touch upon one of the things that
Sure.
Forrest said earlier in his response. And I think, one very common pitfall of affiliate is what he says, that if you're working with brands that are paying CPM, it's a
Mm-hmm.
slippery slope to, you offering them affiliate and then, earning lesser for your inventory.
Correct.
And that is a very obvious pitfall. And I think it'll be obvious. Obviously, it'll be foolishness to do that. And
Mm-hmm.
each publisher needs to figure out how to eliminate that conflict from while trying affiliate. So in some cases, it could be that a brand advertiser and your affiliate advertisers are separate entities altogether, right? Like it could be that the people you're working on affiliate partnerships with are people who would never be brand advertisers for you, right? So it could be that. In our case, in the case of 91 Mobiles, since there's just a handful of brands,
Mm-hmm.
we do both types of businesses with the brands, uh, but the how we distinguish is by type of property. So we don't put
Okay.
out display inventory on an affiliate basis, right? That's not what we
Okay.
do. Display inventory is only on CPM.
Correct.
But for instance, like Forrest said, that if you're doing an article on top 10 dumbbells to use, right, in his
Mm-hmm.
context, then why would you not just append an affiliate link, to those results? And therefore, it requires creating different properties for different types of business models.
Right. The question, since you talked about pitfall and also you talked about article, it's a very interesting question from Vanita Kohli Khandekar. She's from Business Standard. She's asking, once you focus on affiliate, does it take away your attention from content, building stronger content? And both of you can answer it. Actually, people rely on your website to decide on which gadget to purchase, and then you are. What if you just end up pushing a gadget that's actually paying you higher commission? So what happens then?
Yeah, so I think hi Vanita, that's a very good question, and I think it's a valid concern. But I think the way it ends up working operationally, and we are a small company, but even with us, the people writing the content have absolutely no idea as to how it's being monetized.
Okay.
Unless the whole article itself is a sponsored piece, in which case it's tagged as sponsored. So
Okay.
many times, in fact, the affiliate links are algorithmically inserted, where if we are linking products on various pages, then the system understands what product it is. It
Mm-hmm.
understands whether it's available on a particular store, and then sort of inserts the link. So yeah, I mean, that's one thing that takes away the bias. But I do understand that that's something that we do, and I do understand that in a lot of cases, this might be a concern with other publishers or sites. But I think it then comes down to the sort of editorial integrity the various sites would like to maintain, and if there is any manipulation of recommendations basis the fee, then it should probably be clearly tagged as a sponsored piece. Although again, from experience, I'll tell you that there isn't such a big variation in fee. So, for instance, if you're doing an article on top best dumbbells or washing machines or
Yeah.
whatever it may be, it's very unlikely that a site will prescribe differing fee for differing products. So,
Mm-hmm.
you may do an article on dumbbells that you otherwise may not have, but once you do it, I don't think you're incentivized to pick one over the other because of the fee.
Okay. Porosh, do you build such Chinese walls before you go to affiliate that will not let one go over other?
Yeah, I think we have very limited knowledge of affiliate at Sportskeeda right now, because the only few articles that we have done
Mm-hmm.
successfully are the health and fitness articles. And Flipkart or Amazon, they always have a vertical wise percentage share that they give. So on the fitness or on the sports category, I think they give 7-10%. I don't remember, right? So for us, my instruction to whoever is managing their health and fitness vertical was to get the articles written from experts who actually are health and fitness experts who do an awesome article, because then only we get repeat business, we get repeat audience, they respect us, they share it. So for us it will be the write the best article possible, right? And all the dumbbells that they choose, we'll get the same percentage. So and frankly I think I'm not the right person, right, to answer this, because I've done very less effort. This
Okay.
editorial dilemma has not reached me till now. How to put this product up above the other one? Till now, thankfully, we have not dealt with this situation.
There
I
is a
think,
question
I think
from Anuj.
tell,
Yeah.
just to add, I don't think you'll reach that situation also, because frankly, affiliate doesn't pay enough for you to care for promoting one or the other, right? So it's just an incremental thing. It's not enough that it would cause a bias.
Since you're talking about the rates, why don't you just educate our attendants a little bit about it? It's just a reference. Say, for example, I go to a website and I land up on an affiliate link, end up purchasing that 15,000 rupee mobile phone of Samsung from that website, be it e-commerce, be it Facebook, and I can go from any website. I'm not saying specialized website like you might have a different rate for affiliate because you have been doing it for so long, but a new website. What am I likely to get out of that 15,000 rupees transaction that I have driven?
Sure. So, so I'm afraid it's a bit of a complicated answer, because the rates, I can tell you very simply, vary from 0% to as
Correct.
high as 15%, depending on the category that you're talking about. For phones,
Okay.
it's not so. For phones, it would be maybe 1 or 2%, 3%
1%.
at most, typically 1 or 2%. But for other fashion and other categories, it could be up to 10%, maybe sometimes even 15% if it's a newer brand or something that they want to push.
Okay.
But the devil lies in the attribution details.
Correct. And
Uh,
there was a question, Nitin. Actually, if you while you answer it, why don't you take it? I mean, a question that was asked was the publisher is based on the traffic sent to the destination e-commerce site, but there is often a big gap between the figures claimed by both sides. The e-commerce site always prevails. How does one reconcile the difference?
so
So
I think
that's exactly where we're getting.
So I don't know about the specific context of that question. I know that a lot of people have complaints with ad networks because they sort of, so typically a large e-commerce site would have automated systems. So,
Correct.
they would not even have a way to fudge the numbers.
Correct.
But a smaller e-commerce site or a ad network, often could, because one is, what are the numbers you're seeing in the panel and whether they are fair or not. You can verify that because you can do test transactions and see, whether they are being recorded. But they often then reduce the cancellations.
Okay.
And what is the actual cancellation? It's impossible to say, because the cancellations are reduced at an aggregate number. They don't tell you which of those transactions have been cancelled. So there's no way for you to verify this is a transaction
Yeah.
I did. So at least for most publishers, it is like that. So that can be a problem with small sites and maybe even networks. But I think then it's incumbent upon you to then check be wary of such cases and then not work with those sites or networks where you see this problem happening. But the problem that I was referring to is something else. I think even with big e-commerce sites, uh, the the number of conversions that you see can vary very wildly from the same traffic that you're sending them, basis the way in which they are measuring conversions against your traffic, right? So, for
Okay.
example, let's say, anyone, you're buying a phone and you're in the market for a phone. It's a 20,000 rupee phone. It's not something that you will necessarily just see an ad for, click it and buy it. You'll read about it. You might go and watch a video on YouTube. You'll come back. You might see a link on 91 mobiles. You'll click it, go to the e-commerce
Yeah.
site. Then you might wait 2 more days, ask some friends. Then you might go
Correct.
back and then buy it on the third day, right?
Yeah.
whose conversion is yours attributed to? Is it attributed to mine? Is it attributed to a retargeting ad that the site then showed you? I think a lot of these details skew the fee a lot more than what the actual fee is that you see. So in our case, for instance, we never look at the percentage fee. We just look at the yield that we are getting for the fee that for the clicks that we are sending. How much we are making. So ultimately, for us, it's about how much we are making per click and per impression for the space that we are giving to the ad. And I can tell you, in this, even some of the big sites can, have pretty unfriendly policies. For example, one of the biggest e-commerce sites in India changed their affiliate policy sometime last year to basically say that if I send a visitor to them who doesn't immediately buy the phone, but buys the phone after a day or even after a couple of hours, after seeing a retargeting ad run by that same site, then the conversion would be attributed to their retargeting ads and not to us, even though the visitor would have never gone there in the first place had we not shown their ad. So I mean, that's as unfriendly as it gets. So the conversion rate of the clicks that we were sending fell overnight from 2% to 0.5%. So even if they pay 7% fee on mobiles, it will be equivalent to much lesser, as long as the attribution methodology is there. So I think that's something to be aware of, and to look at the end result, which is how much money that you're making for how many clicks that you're sending.
Pretty interesting point, actually. So I have one experience here. It's a competition between whose brand or whose loyalty is more, like which audience really attracts. So there was a fantasy platform. They offered us that they create fantasy xyz.sportskida. They say that whatever revenues come from that platform, it will be kind of yours, or there was a huge good revenue share. But we didn't go ahead because I had asked a question, and it might not seem logical to the fantasy guys. I said, your brand is fantasy XYZ, and I'm marketing it, and they're using fantasy XYZ.sportskida. But the third time, this guy will go to fantasyxyz.com directly, right? Do I get any advantage of that? Do we get affiliate income for that? And on the other side, right, from the fantasy side, he owns a brand. He's doing a lot of marketing, right? And for any brand owner or brand manager, he always thinks that it's a collective effort of all his brand campaigns that a user came to him. So he said, it's not that I can just attribute it to you. So there is like a debate, who's and only the user knows. So on why he's using that platform. So it's very difficult, actually. I don't think there's the right answer to it at all.
Okay, that's great. Porosh, there's a question from Anuj Kumar for you. It asks, do you see sports news publishers to get into paid news or subscription-based model in near future? So by paid news, the person means paying for per news. So how Bloomberg Quint, you need to pay to read a particular story, not the paid news that we have been reading about these days.
Sorry, can you repeat that? I didn't.
Yeah, so the question is actually, do you see sports publishers getting into paid news, I mean the transactional news, and subscription-based model in near future?
Subscription-based model, right?
Yeah. So where you subscribe for a month and you then pay actually or you pay for a particular story.
Got it. So, so I think India might not be ready for such a product. ESPN tried with cricketmonthly.com, I think few years back, but I don't think it worked out. But on the other side, there is a site called The Athletic, and I think they've already reached $500 million valuation, several rounds of funding, and they're doing pretty well from what I've heard from the PR. And I know a lot of people in India, a lot of my friends have actually subscribed to The Athletic. So I definitely think it is the way to go forward. That's like the end goal for a publisher. If he can make content premium and awesome enough that he actually attracts a lot of paid subscribers, that might be our end goal. But I don't think Sportskeeda is going to attempt that for the next 2-3 years at least, unless things change and we stumble upon a very huge content which has a huge demand and users are willing to pay for it in India. I seem it unlikely right now. We have that as in when the content has to be IPL live streaming or sport live streaming of sports and Hotstar fan get now for smaller leagues. So there is definitely and I think YouTube paid in India is doing well. That's what I've heard. So I don't think there is a we can say that Indians will not pay for content. Indians do pay for content, but it will be like really high value content, uh, sports live streaming right now. For sports articles, have a awesome business model or a lot of traction right now. But I think in 5 to 10 years, maybe India is ready for that.
Yeah. So the athletic is a football driven, it's mostly football news that it covers. Why can't a sports kida be athletic for cricket? I mean, is it you need journalists like David to come and write for you? So
the Athletic introduced football later. They are more of a US sports website.
correct.
And their football is NFL, NBA, like that. That's
yeah.
It. But then they switched on to football, and it's pretty popular in India and UK. As you said, athletic for cricket. ESPN tried it, and who better than ESPN to try it with a cricketmonthly.com, and it didn't work, right? I really feel I don't know. I just don't get the vibes that there will be enough traction. They will definitely have subscribers, but will there be enough traction to create like a PNL, a business model? I'm doubtful. I'm not done my research, frankly. I don't have the exact numbers, but I'm doubtful.
Correct. And when you have so many publications actually writing about the same match, it's not likely that people would pay for one where the other one is available for free. Nitin, coming to you, we almost are out of time, but tell me, how much has it progressed compared to what it was last year? Many people in many industries have been saying that this lockdown period has come in as a boon for the digital publications, digital platforms, or edtech. A lot has changed in that economy. What has changed for affiliate compared to the last 12 months?
I think from our standpoint specifically, so I think in affiliate and as an advertising in general, there's going to be an ongoing downward pressure on rates. I think that's just a reality of life that we all need to accept as publishers. And I think part of the value that we provide to to advertisers is to help them reach out to their audience at lower and lower rates, and therefore so I think that's just something that we need to embrace, and I think that's happening across the board. It's happened in affiliate as well. But like I said, the silver lining is the emergence of D2C brands, which for a certain category of publisher can work well. I also feel that going forward, as a lot of the addressable market would get reached out to, by the large advertisers and the large e-commerce brands, they'll have to look at more innovative ways of unlocking further demand, whether it's from remote areas or people who are otherwise not shopping or not shopping frequently enough online. And I think that they will look at more innovative ways to reward partners that work with them on things like that. So I think that there is going to be some merit in working in this on this channel. Although for most publishers, it would probably remain something that can be 10-20% or thereabouts of the revenue at best. If you allow me, I'll take a quick 10 seconds to answer a question that I see someone's asked. What stops 91 Mobiles from creating a dedicated channel for gadget brands on the lines of a BuzzFeed shop? So I just wanted to say on this that for smartphones in particular, I think it's a loss-making business, something that's best left to the big e-commerce sites. But when it comes to gadget accessories, launching a curated version of that and a highly curated shop that we can recommend, I think that's something we'll be interested in doing sometime in the future. Since it's a separate business altogether, it will require separate capability. So if the person asking this or anybody else listening in wants to help us build that, please write into me later.
That's great. I'll come to you, Porosh, with your final remarks. But before that, there's a question from you from Nasir. How does Sportskeeda segment its audience category wise, and how do one monetize audience data better as Sportskeeda audience? I mean, if you would like to answer.
Yeah, we tried DMP. It's pretty expensive and we have put it on hold right now. And DMP does segment your audience in several ways. Secondly, we for us right now the segmentation is sports wise.
Okay.
Because so it's not like Nasir has mentioned that it's below 25. That's not true. What we have seen is that it depends on the sport actually. So our tennis section, the average age is around 30. Cricket, it's around 25. For wrestling audience, we have a lot of US audience, and for wrestling audience that we have, the median age is actually 40, and that we also were surprised because in India we feel wrestling is a young, like a child thing, right? Uh,
Correct.
and that's correct in India. In India, when we see the average age for a wrestling audience, it's around I think 20 average.
Yeah. Yeah.
US 40, 42, because they have grown up with wrestling and for them it's like a culture thing. So it depends on the sport. And the short answer for this question is that we are very bad in monetizing our audience data. And actually, I'm waiting for someone to come up with a publisher friendly DMP with way to, like works on a rev share and not on a 70 lakh fixed fee for a year. It will work for us.
That's great. Your final remarks. What do you have to say about affiliate? Is there a chance you would move back towards it, or do it beyond your health and fitness section?
No, there is definitely a chance. And I don't think I think it's on us to explore and invest more into our affiliate business and the affiliate revenue model. If the fantasy industry, the way it's growing and it becomes standardized and they have a standard affiliate model and we have more trust, we might actually just try that out also. So I definitely all about how the business dynamics, how the other side is reacting, how big, how if they become a big industry, a standardized industry, they have a solid affiliate program. I'm sure Sportskeeda will be on it.
Great, Nitin, and I will end with you. Will we have another discussion? You mentioned downward trade twice, so I ask you this: will we have another discussion on affiliate next year, or do you think it's going to be more and more niche? Now we'll find it difficult to have enough people discuss this issue.
No, I think
Like fewer and fewer publishers. I'm sure there'll be a lot of marketers willing to discuss affiliate, but will we have enough publishers discussing affiliate 1 year from now?
look, I think the downward trend in rates is there in all forms of advertising, not just in affiliate.
True.
And I think affiliate's been around for a decade or two, so I actually expect it to be around for longer. I think there is a category of site that relies on affiliate very heavily. I think for me it's 10-15%. For Porish it's much lesser and might become low. But there are sites that get 50, 60, 70, 80% or even 100% of the revenue from affiliate. And I think possibly future panelists could include some of the people who run sites like that, and they'll definitely have a view that's very skewed to the other direction.
That's great. On that note, I would like to thank our sponsors again. Thank you at PushUp, our presenting sponsor, Akamai, Quintype, and Chartbit. There's a AV. Devashish, can you play it, and then we end with that AV.
When injustice runs rampant, when new discoveries are made,
Painting a real image of one of the most mysterious.
when the public deserves answers,
Zuckerberg faced off with 44 members of the Senate.
When new heroes are found.
Ordinary citizens who have become the heroes of the day.
When people lose their faith.
China has identified its first case of the Wuhan virus.
There are those who've dedicated their lives to bring light to the stories of the world around us.
First African American.
A league of brave men and women that we call the journalists. The noble pursuers of truth, the watchful eye of the public, a voice for the voiceless. The face of new media has certainly changed, yet the sacred role of the press remains the same. A commitment to the truth, a monitor of power, a forum for public debate, and the sentinel of freedom, justice, and democracy.
Thank you very much, Nitin. Thank you very much, Porosh, for your time. It was a pleasure talking.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for having us over.